and a new dawn has begun.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that new angle, how does it look? Straight down the barrel, more intimate, hopefully looking into the eyes of your soul. That's desired effect anyway. Less reading off the screen, more talking to you, my dear sweet viewer, subscriber, friend. So welcome back to Football Therapy and the Chelsea news. I hope you're doing well. Today we're talking about, I saw Lavia's just released his goodbye message to Southampton fans. He's essentially a Chelsea player, isn't he? I think he has signed, that's what Fabrizio Romano said yesterday, so we're going to talk about him as he is a Chelsea player. Chelsea have sold, well, they've lost Kovacic, Kante and Jorginho respectively, and brought in this trio. You know, Andre Santos aside, this is the replacement trio: Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. Very, very exciting. So we're going to discuss about that today. Of course, Chelsea are looking for alternatives for a forward after the Elise deal. As it collapsed, Chelsea walked away because of the controversy with Crystal Palace. I discussed that on a previous upload. Do consider going to watch that. Thank you for joining me. I'll thank you for those of you who've subscribed. Road to 200,000 subscribers. An amazing feat, really. So thank you to everyone who has, contributed to this journey. You know. Like Lavia, Caicedo and Enzo. It's a whole new world, right? And it really is. You could say N'Golo Kante has been replaced by Moises Caicedo. Jorginho has been replaced by Enzo Fernandez, and I think Kovacic with Romeo Lavia as well. Because if you think about it, Jorginho to Enzo, you know, they're the sort of playmakers. I say that in inverted commas for Jorginho. Very good player, Jorginho, but you know, a metronomic register isn't the same as what Enzo can produce offensively. But you know, they are there's similar sort of replacements. The passing midfielder. Of course, Moises Caicedo would represent the replacement from N'Golo Kante, the really combative, interceptive, defensively minded midfielder. I think Moises Caicedo will probably roam less than Kante, but his defensive contributions will be imperative to our success. And you know, you could say the comparison of Lavia to Kovacic to Lavia is a bit lazy, but Lavia compared to the other guys, he is more of a ball carrier. So it does kind of make sense, and it begs the question, what is the long-term plan here? And we've kind of posed this question before, with Lavia signing for Chelsea, and indeed going to Chelsea in the end over Liverpool. He must have some sort of, you know, assurances of game time. Granted, he's still not even 20 yet, he's a teenager, he's 19. But, you know, he would have played at Liverpool. They need his profile of player in that midfield. So it's really interesting to speculate on how Chelsea would have convinced him to join. Of course, we've got Joe Shields, who knew him from Man City, who knew him from Southampton, you know, brought him to Chelsea for a long, long time. Chelsea have scouted Lavia much longer than Liverpool have, but Liverpool sort of made a stronger move for him with their 3 rejected bids earlier this summer. So what's going to happen? How are we going to play? Is Pochettino going to move away from his fabled 4-2-3-1? That looks like Nkunku was the perfect second striker, number 10, to play behind, say, Nico Jackson or an eventual new striker. Or are we going to move to a 4-3-3? Because a lot of football fans, Chelsea fans, are speculating that the balance between Enzo, Lavia and Caicedo could be a really, really special midfield three. And suddenly, should we actually play that formation, we're actually short on midfielders because we've got, you know, not much rotational backup other than, you know, Andre Santos. Because if we're not playing a number 10, then who have you got? Andre Santos, and pretty much that's it. I mean, if Gallagher goes, hoo-wee. You know, you could argue maybe Lewis Hall could play as like, you know, if you play number 8, you could play Chukwuemeka and maybe other players, but conventionally you're a bit short there. So a lot of people would actually like to see a 4-3-3 at the moment, purely because clearly Pochettino isn't too dogmatic to only stick to his 4-2-3-1 formation. We saw us play a back three. I know he kind of contested that, Pochettino, in his post-match press conference, going, oh, it's the same formation, you know, formations are a state of mind, but if you look at the shapes and all that kind of stuff, then we were still, playing a certain way, but it was a back three system. Pochettino historically has changed formations. He favours the 4-2-3-1. That is his choice, but he has played back threes, of course. And he has played a little bit of a 4-3-3 formation as well. So people are speculating, due to the injury of superstar summer signing Christopher Nkunku, who, by the way, did look very good, of course, in pre-season, scoring 3 goals and looking like he could combine with the other forwards. And not only that, his positional versatility looked pretty darn incredible in that front four, whether it's a cam or either side, or indeed up front. So with the loss of Nkunku for half the season, people speculate, should we move to the midfield three? And then, of course, you could have Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo. Lavia gets his promised game time, and then you just mix and match for a front three. You can say, all right, who are we going to play in the front three? Mudryk, Nico Jackson, and Madueke Sterling, or, Maatsen. Did I say Maatsen? Anyway, you got a bunch of options up front, essentially. So that's interesting. Obviously, this doesn't help the likes of Carney Chukwuemeka, but he's very young. He needs to wait for his development. Anyway, I wanted to put out to you guys because the midfield three has been rebuilt. Maybe Lavia does just rotate in and out with, I don't know, one of the double pivot in a 4-2-3-1. Of course, Caicedo or Enzo. We will see if Caicedo is good to go already for tomorrow's game. I will upload, or this weekend's game, I will upload a match preview, by the way, at some point today. If you guys are interested in that, I'll do I think I will anyway, I'll do an on the couch version, like a chilled out, casual, informal video discussing the game, formations, and West Ham's approach, etc. Because it would be really important to get off to a win in this game. I mean, the mood is good. The result against Liverpool was pretty fine. The performance was good, all things considered. But a loss at West Ham would really, get the mood. It would hurt the mood, especially considering West Ham have lost Declan Rice. They've in all kinds of troubles. Anyway, let me know what you think with the midfield situation, and let's move on to attackers. So we've spoken about it. Elise to Chelsea's off. He's re-signed. He's nailed his colours to the Crystal Palace mast. And we are looking for a cam attacking midfielder who can play wide. 2 names that have been spoken about is, of course, Brennan Johnson of Nottingham Forest and Bradley Barcola, the 20-year-old Frenchman from Lyon. Now, young Frenchman is apparently Chelsea 2.0. This is what we are doing, what we are building. Of course, he's from Lyon. Malagusto would have been playing behind him on that flank. We're getting multiple defenders from Monaco in Benoit Badiashile and Axel Disasi, and then we're getting multiple sort of flank players from Lyon. We're just buying all the French players from Ligue 1, and of course we bought Christopher Nkunku from Leipzig, another Frenchman though. So Les Bleus indeed. And of course Brennan Johnson. Let's start with Bradley Barcola because he looks, he fits the bill. He's 20 years old. He's project 2030 passable. He's on a very low wage at the moment. I checked it out. I think he's on $7,000 a week. Poor guy, I know, but we'll come to Chelsea and that would immediately go up significantly. He got 5 goals and 8 assists in Ligue 1 last season, so there is productivity there. And so I think he got 13 goal involvements in just over 1,400 minutes. So he didn't play that much minutes, but that is good. I think it was 15 appearances. The French league is strong. I know it's not the quality nowhere near the Premier League, but people often make comparisons of Ligue 1 profile-wise in terms of physicality and stuff, and it can be quite fast. It's just nowhere near as high quality as the Prem. So you don't get dropped into Ligue 1. I mean, if you can see the amount of players that come from France to the Premier League and and do fine in terms of stylistically, if they're good enough, if their quality's there, but they're not freaked out by the style of the league or whatever. Excuse me. So Bradley Barcola, 20 years old, Frenchman, fits the bill. He would probably be 40 million quid, another one of those kind of style signings. I don't know how long we've been scouting him. Of course, we've spoken about Rayan Cherki. What happened to him? There was suggestions that Chelsea don't like his psychological profile, like his behaviour, his attitude, and excuse me. And if indeed that is true, then yeah, I'm not on board anymore, because Chelsea's success and forward momentum does, sort of go around feel-good factor, dedication, togetherness and all that kind of stuff. And you don't want anything that's going to threaten that. But, Bradley Barcola, if he's there, he's the... I've got hay fever. I'm taking an antihistamine, but I still get, blocked up throat. So I can only apologise for that. Yeah, man, looks... He fits the bill. He's a right-sided player. He'll connect with Gusto, and we've got loads of French speakers in the squad. I'll have to watch more of him. I'll have to do a deep dive on his stats. I think I did look at his scouting report. Pretty good, nothing overly exciting. But then, of course, there is the links to Brennan Johnson. Now, this is a young, talented, promising player from a Premier League team. Once the season has started, he would cost a lot of money. I was seeing 45, 50 million pound links. Now, this is just what's happening in the Premier League. This gives me 60 million Anthony Gordon vibes when we were quoted that much for him at Everton. It really feels the same. Of course, young Wales international, Brennan Johnson. Oh, it's one of those things that if someone tells you, especially when you're selling the likes of Lewis Hall for 30 million or 28 million, and then you go and buy Brennan Johnson for 50 million quid, it's really hard to swallow and understand. But again, if there's a reason why the Chelsea ownership want him, and they're like, this guy is... he's the one. He's to be honest, he's a bright spark when he plays. He still seems raw, but he runs for days. And Chelsea like that. Pochettino will like that. He's quite high octane as a player. He's quite combative. Is it combative or combative? Anyway, he's aggressive with how he plays. And positionally, if they think he suits the bill, I don't even know if he's left-footed, to be honest. I should have checked that. If they think he's positionally appropriate for the role, then you got to be like, all right, Pochi, you can have him. But I don't know. It's how this transfer window develops, and these players pop up, and you have to sort of just accept that maybe they're appropriate for what the coaches want, the owners want. Because if you said to me in the end of last season, right, you start the new season, and it's all exciting. Pochettino comes, the young players, it's a team effort. Who do you want to start on the right wing? Noni Madueke, who's looked really exciting and he goes on to win, the under 21s championships or whatever, with Levi. Noni Madueke starting on the right wing, or would you rather spend 50 million pounds on Brennan Johnson from, nearly relegated Nottingham Forest, and start him instead? I'd be like, are you joking? Obviously Noni, and why would we waste our money on that? But here we are. We're in this position now where clearly the club really, really want this type of profile of player, a new player for that position. They seemingly have a plan. Everyone's on board. So when you get into this position as a fan, you kind of in these rare instances, defer to the coaches and the club and say, all right, we've got a plan. It didn't go well before. It seems to have started well and everyone seems to be on board. You carry on, mate. You carry on, and we're very, very happy with Enzo and Moises and Nkunku, and do you know what I mean? And Malo Gusto to back up the ever injured Reece James. So well done, guys. You got Kepa off the books. Many people will be happy with that. Some will be happy with that. Of course, Robert Sanchez has since taken the number 1 shirt, and he's first choice keeper at Chelsea. And they've signed good keepers, and Disasi scored the opener for us. It's good. It's all good. So if they're like, yep, we know what we're doing. Don't worry. Just don't worry. We've got this. We've paid a lot of money to do this. We want to sign Brennan Johnson. You go, all right. I mean, it's not as sexy, and probably because he's just a Nottingham Forest young player. It's not as sexy as getting Bradley from Leon. And I never really watched him play. I was like, oh, his number's all right. Oh, he's a 20-year-old Frenchman. These young French players, they seem to be doing well for us. And you sort of naturally gravitate towards that. Yeah, right, sweet, let's do that. But then, is it the right decision? Is it the right decision? I put it out to you guys, my friends. Let me know what you think about the midfield three, the potential formation change, and who you want for a new attacker. It'd be very, very interesting to learn what people think about, Barcola, or I think it's Bradley Barcola, or Brennan Johnson, who people would prefer. Would you accept either of them? What does it mean for Nani Madueke? I'd like to urge you to follow me on social media at FootballYannick, and I will see you guys very soon. Peace.